knowing that what you stand for and the heritage and the pride that comes with that. And when we march down the street in, say, the inaugural parade, I get goosebumps. And I hope everybody else in the band gets goosebumps too, especially when I see that things look good and they sound good and we're doing our job the way we're supposed to do it. It's a great feeling. I guess that's why we do it.
It's a common language, and everybody understands that, and it's a very uplifting thing. It's a very rare circumstance that you don't see a reaction from a crowd in a positive way.
One of the main reasons that music exists within the military is to stir up that sense of patriotic pride among our citizens and, of course, among members of our military.
We get to witness history as it's being made. We get to perform for political functions, for functions for the Marine Corps, and we're always involved in something usually historical in nature. And so even though we're performing our instruments, we're playing music, we're also a part of something like really bigger than ourselves.
The President's own Marine Band performs in countless concerts, ceremonies, and White House receptions.
In a typical day and week, there really is nothing typical about the job. Earlier this week, we were marching a parade up on the deck for a bunch of I think it was 11 brigadier generals, and then here I am today playing a French ballet. So it varies a lot from day to day and week to week and season to season.
You could be on 2 or 3 rehearsals and maybe a concert or 2 that week, or you may be on 3 or 4 ceremonies, but we're always sort of on call. Things could change at the drop of a hat, and so that's one of the keys about being in the Marine Band, I think, is the personality, to be flexible, to be willing and understanding when things change at the last minute.
The Marine Band is the oldest professional musical organization in America. Founded in 1798 by an act of Congress, the band has performed for every presidential inaugural since Thomas Jefferson's, earning its name, the President's Own.
Just being in the room with the President of the United States, with our Commander-in-Chief, is just such an honor. I feel as honored as any of his guests that he would have there, just to be playing in his house, in his presence. Being able to honor his service to us with my service to him and to our country. I couldn't have any possible higher honor.
Historical things that people may see on TV or read about in the newspaper, just witnessing it, seeing it, standing in that grand foyer and going, wow, I'm definitely a part of something right now that is important.
The Marine Chamber Orchestra rehearses and often performs at Sousa Hall, named for John Philip Sousa, the former band director known for his composition of military and patriotic marches.
One of the great things about this job for a percussionist is that some of the ceremonial work we do, it goes into the essence of what percussion and what music really is. We're signal people, we're callers. We do a certain beat and then something happens in the troops. Something happens outside because of something that we've done. Going back to the days of the fife and drum, there is a reason why percussionists were on a battlefield before anybody else. And then when you get a military job, especially a military job like this, that is involved with so much history and so much depth, so much ceremony, that it gets right to the core of what a percussionist actually does, why a percussionist is here.
Family traditions are really much part of Marine Band history. In fact, John Philip Sousa himself, his father played trombone in the Marine Band, and John Philip Sousa's brother, George, was a percussionist in the Marine Band. So there are really strong family traditions that go back throughout the history of the band.
History is still being made in the Marine Band. Staff Sergeant Chris Franke joins both his parents and late grandfather as the first family to span 3 generations in the President's Own.
My mom played a concert the night before I was delivered at the hospital. So, you know, from before I was born, I was exposed to music.
The Franke family legacy started with the late Master Gunnery Sergeant David Johnson, who played the trumpet and cornet. Johnson and his daughter, retired violist Master Sergeant Susan Franke, are the only father-daughter Marine Band family connection to date. She talks about what it was like to play with her dad.
I loved the way he played trumpet. How neat to be in an organization with your father. So once I got the position, I was thrilled.
Within a year, she met Phil Franke, a euphonium player in the band who would become her husband.
And so I would sit up in front of the two of them and know that my dad was back there, and I would listen to him play, and my husband was back there. It was just I don't know, comforting, just to know that we were all there.
We caught up with Master Gunnery Sergeant Franke at a concert in Toledo, Ohio. He says his late father-in-law was both a friend and roommate when they were on tour.
It's almost a surreal feeling to, have gone from meeting my wife in the band, then being able to play music with my wife, not just play music, but at the White House. And then with, of course, sort of came along with that, the father-in-law thing. And then 22 years later, when my son auditioned, there were people in the band that knew him from the time when my wife was pregnant. It sort of came full circle, and it hit maybe on the way home from that audition where he was accepted into the band that, wow, this is really something. As proud as I was, I think he was just as proud to be the third generation, and the first person he called was Grandma and Grandpa to let them know.
I remember the very first concert we had, the three of us. It was just really neat. And what was really nice is that even though my dad was ill when Chris got in the band, he knew that Chris was there, and he was just, he was so proud. It was just so amazing to him to know that this 3 generations of Marine Band in the family was happening.
It's been my dream since I was 8 years old and realized that music was something special for me. I remember sitting around a table with my grandfather and my mom and dad and the whole family, and they asked me, so what do you want to do? Well, I want to be in the Marine Band. I would love to be in the Marine Band. That would be fun. And 14 years later, sure enough, the audition comes up. I take the audition, and 8 months after that, I'm here and loving every minute of it. I wouldn't have traded it for the world.